Tales from the Tavern is just humbled and grateful to welcome to our stage Eliza Gilkyson and one of our very favorite guitar players, the ever sweet Nina Gerb.
Days and turn my gaze towards night against your final backdrop plays the story of my life. Your fractured vessel I've become, my broken heart of tin, a grain of sand in rain and sun, at the mercy of the wind. I'm your unworthy instrument. Come strike my final tones and blow your horn magnificent to the hollows of my bones. I'll never be your chosen one to rise above the din, for all the good I should have done and all I've never been. I'm your unworthy instrument. Come strike my final tones and blow your horn magnificent through the hollows of my bones. I'm your unworthy instrument. Come strike my final tones and blow your horn magnificent through the hollows of my bones, through the hollows of my bones. Thank you.
Eliza, welcome back to Tales from the Tavern.
Thanks for having me
Thank
again,
you.
Ron. You've been so good to me over the years. We have some miles on our tires.
I know
since
it.
we started.
I think it's public knowledge that we love you.
Well, I can use all the love I get.
Can't we
I
all?
think it's mutual.
I was wondering about something like that where, I mean, it's been a few years since we've been together, but when you come into something like this, I'm hoping that you don't feel like you have to come in and prove yourself or something.
No, I just, it's like an island, that you're just swimming towards, because you're out there working, But when you have something that's familiar, that you know people want you just the way you are, it's something I look forward to, and I feel very welcome. And I don't ever think, what do I need to do to make it so they love me?
Right.
Which if it was a new places, you're
That's what I was
always
saying.
sending out feelers to see, does this work for these people? In a situation like this, I just think I can just play. I pretty much feel like I can go in any direction I want. So it makes it much more spontaneous.
Right.
And you can see I'm just relaxed. So, and I tell more jokes and we have more fun.
Talk about the record as we go, but my last record is called Secularia, and it's a collection of what I call my secular hymns, and they're sort of, it's kind of, I think of it as spiritual music for atheists, and because I'd been writing these songs over the years, and I was kind of sneaking them in towards the back end of my records, these sort of questing songs, and I was sort of hiding them because I didn't want to be called like a new age artist, and because it took me years to get rid of that sort of impression that people had of me. So I was very nervous about bringing them out again. Then I thought, God, I'm so old now. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just gonna do the thing I want to do. So I'm gonna do this spiritual record. I'm just gonna put them all together here and see what happens. But I decided my caveat was I was never going to mention a deity or a belief system on this entire spiritual record. So here we go. Through the looking glass into another world where all is still, majestic silence calls me and I will walk on through the looking glass, reaching for a place my eyes can't see, wandering in the nighttime where I'll be at dawn, walking on and on through the green fields and the minefields to learn how love feels on this ocean, this mirror of my heart, the great devotion game. Beauty beckons like a pot of gold. Once upon a time I walked a road like this, through the looking glass, crossing the dark waters of my loneliness, living for the glimpses of life's holiness. Through the looking glass, stars don't have to tell me where to go. I've lived enough to know I want the whole of love. Walking on and on through the green fields and the minefields to learn how love feels on this ocean, this mirror of my heart, the great devotion game. Beauty beckons like a pot of gold. Once upon a time I walked a road like this, walking on and on you. From Sebastopol, California, Nina Gerber. Woo! That's one of the older songs that's on the new record. I kind of went around and redid some old songs, and sorry, Granny's getting a little hot. And that was one of the older ones. I actually wrote that in an altered state. That was a while. That was, I have to say, it's one of the older songs, yes, I've journeyed far and wide through the looking glass, and I mostly threw up a lot. It was one of those kind of adventures. We had an old Guatemalan bruja helping us, and she was first thoroughly, I'm impressed with how shallow I was. By morning, I finally just surrendered and finished throwing up. And that song was waiting for me. Yeah. So when I was here before, I think I was still touring my last record, which was called The Nocturne Diaries, and that was a collection of songs that I had written in the middle of the night. I think I told you last time. So I was waking up at 3 in the morning, that kind of wake up, and everything that I successfully avoided thinking about during the day was there to greet me. And all the things that I think about at night, like what kind of world is coming for my grandkids, and are we going to have an environmental collapse on a massive world level, and I'm going to die, and that's a fun thing to think about in the middle of the night. You're not really, what are you going to tell yourself? You're never going to die. That's never going to happen. Like, words of consolation. But, so I decided I was just going to get up and write my way through it, just turn into it and see what happened. And so it was more, I didn't know if I decided to do that as much as I needed to do it. So that's what happened. And it turned out after, 6 months, I had made a whole record out of those. And I'm sure you want to go buy that happy record. Yeah. Woohoo! After you listen to that record, you go, now I see why she never gets asked out for a New Year's Eve gig. So here comes the new year. Eliza, there may not be a new year. Woohoo! So, because I'm so worried about everything. Birds are singing, new day dawning, and I'm so worried about everything. Thank God I'm breathing, and I still got my wedding ring. Time is fleeting, and I'm so worried about everything. Oh, Eliza, you try so hard, you don't see nothing. Blue horizon, you're expecting rain. Lift your eyes and you just might find you see something good. Eliza, little Liza, oh Eliza, little Liza Jane. This world still got half a chance, still got half a voice that's singing, still doing a doomsday dance. I'm so worried about everything. Swing around a one-way track like you're ringing around a rosy. Element left and you can't go back. Do-si-do, do-si-do. Eliza, you try so hard, you don't see nothing. Blue horizon, you're expecting rain. Lift your eyes and you just might find you see something good. Eliza, little Liza, oh
I'm probably constantly fluctuating between the horror and the grief, the absolute deep, deep grief of what we're going through, with this sort of mad desire to notice everything that is still here, and focusing on that. So it's sort of schizophrenic or something, but that's what I do. And it's just, that's my nature, you know. I'm extremely not shut down, and I think, and sometimes I wish I were a little more, I had a little more, you know, padding or something, because I feel everything, and I'm constantly, I'm one of those people whose senses are always taking on information. So I'm noticing I notice every bird, I notice, you know, flocks of birds, and I want to know what they are, and I'm noticing, oh wow, there are fewer insects here in this part of the world, and are we having insect collapse? You know, I'm constantly worrying about things and noticing things and feeling the temperature and feeling it on my skin, and this doesn't feel right. So I'm in a state of, you know, it's pretty crazy.
But you're also aware that that's what your people that resonate with your songs respond to, right?
I think I think I just have to learn to ride the wild surf, you know, and that's maybe because I can't change the kind of person I am or the kind of sensors I have or anything, and I don't want to, because it might brick off the wellspring or something. So I need it, and it does help me to write. It helps me process stuff, and it helps me feel. It grounds me, and makes me feel like I'm doing something that's useful. And so I don't want to stop, but that means I'm going to have to feel everything, and so it's tricky. It's just tricky. I need for people to go, yeah, I feel that way too. I'm sure that one of the reasons
you get that all the time, though, don't you?
I do, and I do get it. A certain kind of people really do resonate with what I do, and it's not a huge amount of people, but it's enough people to make me feel like I'm not alone.
So one of the things I was running into on this record was, how to talk about, you know, having a relationship with something that you have no idea what it is, or if it even exists at all, and how do you write about that? How do you sing about it? And also, how do you avoid all the pitfalls of talking about those things? And one of the things I kept bumping into really was this sort of really entrenched paradigm of God being a masculine, being a male, and it's so entrenched in our culture. It's so deep that we know intellectually that God is not a man, but it's so entrenched. It's really hard to not see how it's playing out in our lives, and especially for women. There was a great feminist in the 70s by the name of Mary Daly, and she wrote this book called Beyond God the Father. And it was really one of the first times that someone was actually writing about this idea of a male God. And she said, if God is male, then the male is God. You know, it was like a real simple thing, but at the time, I don't think it struck me the way it has, again, reading it later, because I see now how this has played out in our lives, for women's lives, and how we see ourselves in a sort of dominant, subordinate position. And it's so deep that we have to work very hard to change that. And I think we're seeing that now. It's happening in the culture. It's changing on a much deeper level. But we played it out in our relationships, how we viewed other women, how we saw ourselves against men, is how we saw ourselves in the workplace, and how we treat the earth herself as something to dominate. So I felt like I needed to write about it, and so I did, and I came up with this song because I guess I'm so angry about all the things that are being done in the name of this male God right now, in the name of the Lord. So that's what this is called, the name of the Lord. Now you're talking to the night. You read the words by candlelight. You cling to them with all your might in the hollow of your soul. You dread the crashing of the rain, the waters rising on the plain, the lightning flash, the hurricane out of your control. And it's all in the name of the Lord. Thank you. A medley of my hit. Made a pretty damn good living playing music on the beauty way. He's gonna die with some money in his pocket. Wish I could do the same today, little darling. Wish I could do the same today. Doe-eyed kid and a little transistor tuned in a Wolfman Jack. Guitar, heard the sirens whisper, and I never looked back, little darling, and I never looked back. I worked the clubs alone, I sang Greta Crystal, polished a diamond in her rough. By the time I hit LA, I was hotter than a pistol, but you're never hot enough, little darling. Never really hot enough. I felt the light on a big, big stage, the fire burn in my soul. And those nights when my guitar rages, it's not something you control, darling. It's not something you control. This chord and my soul or my money I could save. Every time I say I'm gonna quit the beauty way, hear my bones turning into grave, little darling, bones turning into grave. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Thank you. All right, let's see what else we got here on the hit list. All right, here's one I wrote about my 11th generation grandfather who fought with Washington I got this from his letters, and I just Googled him online and found a book that was filled with his letters, and because it was right when we were going to Bush to Iraq, and I was thinking, I was getting a lot of flack, and I knew I had this patriot grandfather back in there, so I thought, I'm gonna use this guy to suit my needs. And so I looked him up, and it turned out, this book was all these letters, and he joined up with Washington's army. He came down from Connecticut with his own brigade, and he worked his way up to major general in the Revolutionary War, and his letters were really weird though, because not weird. Well, that's kind of, he was like so weird, man. He was so eloquent, really. He was incredibly eloquent, but it was, once I kind of got into the groove of the letters, I could pull whole sentences out, and they would kind of work in this sort of cadence. So I set him up in the winter of 1777 when we, of course, were and the Valley Forge, that terrible winter, the famous winter, and when all the one percenters were whining and dining the British soldiers in the great houses of Philadelphia. Some things never change. He was out there in Valley Forge, and I have walked his trench lines there. The Huntington Brigade had their own trench lines. And so I set him up there in that winter, and then he kind of took off on his own. Is that right? It was A minor? Good girl. Yes, I'm the singer. People say, gosh, you got so many songs. I'm like, yeah, I'm old. I've written a lot of songs. Jedediah out in the snow, walking the frozen trench lines, wet boots and his wool coat coming apart at the seams. Rations of hard-baked dough, handfuls of melting snow. What else can a man live on but his dreams? Not 20 miles away, in the mansions of Philadelphia, loyalists laying their money down on the king. We've provision enough for the day, but if victory were just for the wealthy, our noble cause wouldn't be worth the hardship we're suffering. Sand the cloth for a good waistcoat, I dream of your hearth in the fields of oat. I wake to the drum and the trembling note of the fifer. May it please God in His great mercy to shelter our friends and our family. I remain your son most faithfully, Jedediah. I have seen a man who's seen a man who has heard the king tell of his intention our independence to declare. The peace will undoubtedly bring a great revolution in commerce. May it be our rightful fortune to come in for a share. My regards to a certain Miss Moore, I've stated my honorable intentions for her. Upon my return from this necessary war, she'd be my wife. May it please God in His great mercy to restore the joys of domesticity. Salutations to the family, Jedediah. Rejoice that the cause we're engaged in is in the hands of an almighty sovereign who I doubt not is accomplishing the ends of his desire. My love to you and the fair Miss Moore, spare me a bottle from the cellar store. In my name let the contents pour, Jedediah. Thank you.
I always think the grain of sand makes the pearl, and so you have to sit with discomfort to write. And I don't know if we've talked about that before, but one of the ways that you get the channel to open up is to sit still and sit with your sense of discomfort, because usually we're going around trying to placate ourselves. I think we're basically longing machines. We're filled with longing. It's actually, I think, programmed into us. We long for high energy carbon. that's what we want. We want sunlight. We want energy. You know, it's just built into us. So we're constantly trying to fill ourselves with food and thoughts and media and drinks and and visuals. You know, you have to stop that and get very uncomfortable and feel your sense of longing, and then the door opens up and stuff. You have to push past the discomfort, and then things start happening. So I have to get myself into that place to sit with my discomfort.
Let's do this one. I've got a couple brand new songs. I got a new record coming out in the beginning of next year. Yeah, it's called 2020, and it's going to be pretty political. So I'll do a few songs. This is one of the songs from it. The thing about this new record is that every song on there is going to be something you can sing along to. So this is one of them. As I journey through my life in wonder, I'm struck by your beauty divine, with your blue seas and skies, a feast for my eyes, and your fragrance of sagebrush and pine. I have loved you since I can remember. Your water is my holy wine. I'll be faithful and true, for I pledge my life to this beautiful world of mine. Oh, beautiful world, dressed up in your colors so fine. I promise to share and handle with care this beautiful world of mine. How I love the unfolding of seasons, your mountains all covered with snow, and your flowers in spring. Like a bird I will sing to the sunset and hills all aglow, and in summer your gardens of plenty, and the fruit from your orchard and vine, and your bounty in fall. Oh, I love it all in this beautiful world of mine. Here we go, beautiful world, beautiful world. Oh, beautiful world, beautiful, dressed up in your colors, dressed up in your colors so fine. Promise to share, I promise to share Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you all so much for coming out to see us again. It's begun quite the thing for us to be here, and for Nina and me to do these tours together. It's just wonderful. So, thank you so much. Thanks so much to Ron for having us all these years, to this amazing crew and the volunteers and Carolyn. It was just a great dinner, all of it so sweet. So thank you for, it's something we look forward to when we get a chance to do this. It's always, what musician wouldn't love this? So thank you all so much. Please do get on my mailing list. I just put it out there. I forgot to do that. And we're happy to sign things. We'll as John Gorka says, happy to sign even body parts.
I mean, I probably every day think I wonder, should I keep doing this, because it's hard on the body to tour on the kind of, the guerrilla level that we do, and I'm getting up there, so it's hard on me, but I can't. Nina and I were just talking about that today. It's really hard to imagine myself not doing it. So much of who I am is tied up in it, and it also gives me a sense of purpose and meaning in my life. So I don't think I would stop. But you have to. I'm really into taking really good care of myself, because you have to. I can't afford to slip up.
All right, let's try this. Oh yeah.
We've been under their thumb for a long time. They give us just enough water, just enough wine, just enough crumbs, $1 and a dime, just enough hope to keep us towing the line. But sooner or later, it's a natural fact. Gonna rise up, gonna take it all back. Well, they keep us separated by the shade of our skin. The dark ones relegated to the bottom of the bin. A woman was created to put out and to give in. And the game is rigged and weighted, so you're never gonna win. But sooner or later, it's a natural fact. Gonna rise up, gonna take it all back. Well, they gave us a God looking down from on high. They gave us a story about the by and by, the moment of glory coming after you die. But you know damn well it's a lie. Sooner or later, taken from the poor. They take the children from their mothers. We won't take it anymore, but sooner or later, sing it, sooner or later, oh, sooner or later, it's a natural fact. Gonna rise up, gonna rise, gonna rise, gonna rise, sooner or later, oh, sooner or later, sooner or later, I'm gonna rise up, gonna take it all back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, you all.
We feel a special connection to you.
Oh, well, that's
And
really
thank
nice.
you very much for,
You've been so good to me, and I feel like you just, you've let me be myself forever. So thank you so much for
Great.
that. Thank you.
great, thanks.
Sing along a bowl. Hopefully.
Weary world, so worn and tired from all this pleasure we required. Spin us round from end to end. Break us down until we bend. And with these hearts, with these hands, could we learn to love again? Weary world, make us pay, make us beg for one more day, one more day, and one more night.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Nina Gerber, thank you so much.